Welcome to our solar eclipse and new moon practice. What a perfect practice to have today. Flow and restore yoga happens to coincide with this day. So grab your pillow or your bolster blanket, 2 blocks and a strap, and let's start in any comfortable seated position in which you can start to turn open the thighs. We're gonna physically focus on 3 main chakras today, the sacral energy center, as we work on how we're relating to our emotions at this time, as well as how we're relating to change in any aspect of your life. And the heart chakra, anahata, which as we are embodying our own truth, which is actually the throat chakra, but also being sincere and wholehearted in what's coming up in our lives right now, how we're digesting that. And the third main chakra that we're going to work on is the solar plexus, Manipura chakra, more in terms of how we work with our sense of will, our willpower, and our devotion to our highest good, and how we affect collective good. And so I want to read a little bit from 2 astrological writers. One is Carrie from Magic of I, and she says that new moons are usually quiet times of introspection, but with the sun, moon, Mercury, Venus, and Chiron all in Aries harnessing their collective energy and forging a new path into the future, this particular new moon is a powerful time for healing and starting anew. Energy and inspiration is abundant, and we can use this to creatively heal and repair whatever is wanting, calling us forth in that area of our life. Chelsea Lugo from House of Intuition wrote, at the April 8th new moon solar eclipse, we are not being asked, but pushed to seek deep healing, which requires taking a deep dive into our inner world. Collectively, we are healing the shadow side of Aries, which relates to the manifestation of the overly masculine patriarchal in both men and women energy. The shadow side tends to be angry, intense, and close-minded, seeking instant gratification and situations where only one side wins. At its highest vibration, the higher vibration of Aries defends, supports, and leads others with conviction, courage, and love. It creates win-win situations and a true, not only perceived, sense of harmony. So here is a reflection for this Aries new moon. I move through life with great courage, foresight, and determination. I move through life with great courage, foresight, and determination. How do those words resound with you in this moment? And the monthly theme is action, confidence, and leadership. Action, confidence, and leadership. I invite you to reflect on what's happening in your life right now. And I know that sounds like a broad stroke, but where do these words create a little resonance? Action, confidence, and leadership, courage, foresight, and determination. Is there any aspect in your life that is wanting you to look at it and not just look at it from the outside, but dive a little deeper? Are you in some aspect of your life in the process of healing something? And that could be anything, not only the physical body, which tends to be, as I believe, a manifestation of what's been wanting healing energetically or spiritually or emotionally in our lives. Healing in relationships, whether a relationship with yourself, an older version of you, which might entail forgiveness, or relationship with those you live with, your closest beings that are around you, or your relationship with communities that you're a part of, whether it's your workplace, your social circle, your larger family circle. Is there any aspect in your life that you have been really setting intentions to heal? Maybe you're being called to some deeper layer of looking into that. And really, really important to put on the lens of self-compassion and love, and remembering to look at the bigger picture. As these cosmic happenings like the solar eclipse, I believe the next one is only coming in 20 years from now. So it's not a frequent occasion. And landing and coinciding with the new moon, opportune time to set new intentions. These are really callings to look at the bigger picture of what's happening in our lives. The day-to-day things, take a step back and take a bird's eye view. What's been working and what's not been working that you can readjust, forge new paths. So take a moment right now and invite you to just reflect on that. It's quite a bit to reflect on. But start with what you're feeling in your physical body. Words can hit us viscerally. Notice if there's any part of your body that's speaking to you a little louder at this moment. Begin to sense your overall physical state as we're beginning our asana yoga practice. Noticing your energy by feeling into the qualities of the natural breath right now. How is life force energy moving through you as you can sense it in the breath? Notice your state of mind and heart. What is present right now mentally and emotionally, especially as you hear these words about the solar eclipse, the new moon. Let's start to ground in deeper breaths, filling up the lungs and letting it go through the mouth. Filling up a little deeper, a little slower. And emptying. As you continue to deepen your breath, what is something right now that you appreciate in any aspect of your life? In what ways have you enjoyed well-being, abundance, thriving? In what ways have you healed or have been healing? And now looking forward on this new moon solar eclipse, in what area of your life would you like to see transformation or an upliftment of some sort? Is there any part of your life that's seeking healing? What might that look like? What might that feel like? Clarify your intention on this new moon. Can you recognize anyone around you right now that could also use support in healing and thriving? You might offer up this practice to them, extending the benefits beyond yourself. And together, let's join our voices. I'm going to invite you to chant 3 different seed sounds or bija mantras as we're working with the solar plexus. The seed sound is Ram, like a ram, like the animal, strong-willed. And the seed sound for the heart chakra is Yum, like you're tasting something delicious. And the seed sound for the sacral energy center is Vam, Vam. So let's start with Vam and then move into Ram and then move into Yum to open the practice today. So let out this breath. Inhale to begin. Vam. Ram. Yam. Stoking our inner fire, awakening Manipura chakra energy, solar plexus. I'm going to invite you into breath of fire for 1 minute of practice. Breath of fire, closing the lips. We'll exhale as we pulse the belly towards the spine, all through the nose. So it's an active cleansing exhale that's brisk like this. So we're stoking our inner fire. All right, let's try that for 1 minute. Oh, and if you happen to be pregnant, I invite you not to practice breath of fire, but instead just breathe into that solar plexus region, deep breaths in and out through the nose. Okay, for those of you that are practicing breath of fire, maybe close the eyes. You can set your hands at Manipura chakra at your upper belly and or mid-back, lowest ribs. And focus on the color yellow, like a bright sun, your solar plexus. All right, 1 minute of breath of fire, closing the lips. Ready, begin. Last 20 seconds. Take a deep breath in. Hold the breath in at the top for as long as you comfortably can while lifting your pelvic floor, drawing the navel in towards the spine, up towards the heart, closing the chin to the chest, locking the throat. Imagine energy rising from your root center all the way up to the crown center, passing through Manipura, Anahata, and Svadhisthana. When you can't hold the breath comfortably anymore, exhale through the mouth, breathe naturally, and observe how you feel. Now let's begin an energy balancing breathing technique called Ujjayi Pranayama, which will bring us into our movements and postures. So this style of breathing, victorious breath, is done by closing the lips, breathing just through the nose, and lengthening the inhalation as slowly and completely as the exhalation. while softly constricting the back of the throat so that you can listen to a very subtle and smooth whispering sound to the breath, which helps you to regulate your breathing and regulate your energy. So as you listen to that sound, create a slow and steady rhythm that will move as we practice sun salutations too. So let's meet at the top of your mat, standing with feet hips distance apart and parallel to each other in mountain pose, bringing the hands in prayer at the heart, connecting to your intention or personal prayer on this new moon practice, and offering gratitude to both the sun and the moon for the rebalancing energies, the sun representing that masculine energy or solar energy, balancing with the moon, feminine, lunar energy, yang and yin. Inhale, sweep the arms overhead and roll your shoulders back and down. Exhale, hinge forward from the hips. Plant your fingertips on the ground. Inhale, step the left knee behind you. Kneeling lunge, look up. Hold your breath as you step to plank pose. Exhale, lower your knees, chest, then chin. Inhale, slide forward and softly roll the shoulders back, a gentle cobra. Exhale, tuck your toes, lift your hips back to downward dog. Inhale, step the left foot beside the left thumb. Lower the right knee, look up. Exhale, step your right foot forward and bow. Press to the feet. Inhale, sweep the arms forward, rising into a gentle standing back bend. Exhale, unite your palms at your heart center. Side two, sun salutation C. Inhale the arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Lower your fingertips. Inhale, step the right knee back, look up, kneeling lunge. Hold your breath as you step to plank. Exhale, lower knees, chest, then chin, Ashtangasana. Inhale, slide through into Bhujangasana, Cobra pose. Exhale, lift your hips back to Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward dog. Inhale, step the right foot beside the right thumb. Lower your left knee, look up. Exhale, step the left foot forward and bow. Press to the feet. Inhale, root down to rise. Exhale, marry your palms and prayer at the heart. Sun salutation A. Inhale, your arms overhead, lifting your heart towards the sun and moon. Exhale, forward fold towards the earth. Press your hands on the ground or blocks. Inhale, lift your heart forward, lengthen the spine. Step into plank pose, and as you exhale this time, glide forward, graze your elbows by your ribs, and inhale to cobra or upward facing dog. Exhale into downward facing dog. Pause here for 2 deep breaths. When you've emptied the second breath, walk or float to the front of your mat, forward fold. Inhale, half forward fold. Exhale, fold. Rooting down, inhale, rise up, Urdhva Hastasana, lifting your heart towards the open sky. Exhale, join your palms, uniting masculine and feminine energy with the heart. Sun salutation B, step your feet together to touch. Inhale, bend your knees together, sitting low in chair pose. Lean back towards your heels. Exhale, then shift forward and hinge from your hips. Press with your hands. Inhale, lengthen your chest forward. Step to plank and lower knees, chest, chin, or chaturanga, or float to chaturanga. Inhale into cobra or upward facing dog. Exhale to downward facing dog. Inhale, raise the right leg up. Listen, this one's a little different. Exhale, step the foot beside the right thumb. Stay on the ball of the left foot. Inhale to crescent lunge. Exhale, lower into your version of your vinyasa or cat-cow. You decide what's appropriate for you based on your energy right now. From downward facing dog, inhale, raise your left leg behind you. Exhale, set the foot beside the left thumb. Stay on the ball of the right foot. Inhale to crescent lunge. Exhale, lower into your version of vinyasa. This time pausing in downward dog, tune into 3 to 5 slow, balanced breaths. Lifting the hips high, pressing the fronts of the thigh bones back, and sinking the heels towards the earth. When the breath is steady and calm, empty it before you walk or jump lightly to the front of your mat. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana, half forward fold. Exhale, Uttanasana, forward fold. Bend your knees together. Inhale, chair. We're going to add a twist here as we work with Manipura Chakra. Join your hands at the heart. Keep the hips low and exhale, turn your chest to the right. Option to hook the left elbow outside the right thigh. Option to keep the hands in prayer or open the arms apart. Let's tune into 3 last breaths. Draw the left hip back, keeping each knee equidistant to the front edge of the mat. And let your ribcage turn without the pelvis turning. Soften the shoulders back, keeping your heart higher than the hips. One last breath. Parita Utkatasana. If you can, sit a little lower. Inhale the arms up in Utkatasana or chair pose. Hook the thumbs overhead and rise. Exhaling into a gentle back bend. Wide across your heart center. Let in a full breath. And then exhale, hands in prayer in mountain pose. Bend your knees together. Inhale back to Utkatasana, chair pose. Join the hands together. Exhale, begin to twist to the left. You might hook the right elbow outside the left thigh. You might not. See if you can enter the same version of the pose as you did on the first side, though the depth might be different. Tack the crease of the right outer hip back, keeping the hips still, letting the rib cage rotate, and let the shoulders relax down the back. 2 more breaths. Parita Utkatasana. If you can, sit a little lower. Inhale, chair pose. This time, sit all the way to the ground. Set your feet hips distance apart, parallel to each other, and then grab a block. Place the block by the skinniest width between your knees and thighs. Extend the arms forward, the palms face up, relaxing the shoulders down. Sit tall. Seal the front bottom ribs in, and allow several deep breaths to take you down to lower on your back. Take your time. Feel a sense of empowering the center line of your body with the support of all your many core muscles, really part of that Manipura solar plexus energy. When you come all the way down, bring the arms by your sides and slide your feet back until you can almost touch your heels with your fingertips, but not quite. Press down evenly through the inner and outer edges of each foot, while grounding the shoulders and tilting the chin slightly back. Keep the pelvis on the floor, but start to tilt the pelvis as you breathe in so that the tailbone begins to point upwards towards the block. And then when you cannot keep the pelvis on the ground anymore, through that tilt, start to lift the hips, hugging the block as you stretch the fronts of the thighs forward. How's your breathing? Slide your upper arms closer together under your back ribs, keeping the arms straight. If your hands happen to meet, you might interlace the fingers, you might not. Press downward through the outer sides of the upper arms and spin your inner thighs slightly towards the floor. Breathing wide across your heart space and all throughout your lungs, even into the fronts of your hips, your belly, fronts of your thighs. Tuning into 3 to 5 more deep breaths here in Setu Bandha Sarvangasana, bridge pose. This both awakening energy in your heart chakra and your solar plexus chakra. The color, the heart chakra, is green, like a forest, like much of nature, energy of love. You might visualize that expanding at the center of your chest and upper back. Sending that loving energy into any other area of the body that may need a little more vitality, healing, balance. When you're ready to come down, use an exhalation to slowly lower your upper back. And then one vertebra at a time, tailbone rest. And just let the pelvis rest on the ground for 2 deep breaths. Put the block aside and please turn over onto your belly. We're going to practice 2 more active back bends because they simultaneously activate energy in your solar plexus and your heart centers. So let's come on down to the belly, preparing for bow pose. Rest your forehead on the ground, slide your knees close together, then bend both knees and reach back with your hands to catch hold of your feet or your ankles. Press your pubic bone into the floor and kick your feet away from you while you pull your feet towards you, lifting your knees. Try not to splay the knees wider apart than hips distance so that you're supporting the lower back. Draw the shoulder heads behind you, breathing wide across your heart center and upper belly, mid-back. Soften the neck, so look slightly down. Tune into about 5 or so more breaths here in Dhanurasana. And when you're done, relax your entire body. Let it rest for a few breaths as you notice anything you're feeling in your body or energy. All right, I'm going to invite you to one last Dhanurasana again. Maybe switch up the side of the ankles or feet that you're holding this time around. Notice how that might affect the way this opens up your shoulders. So when you're ready, kick the feet back, pull them towards you, and lift up. 5 to 10 breaths, your count. Focus on balancing and fully breathing in and out. Once again, when you're done, let it go. Let your entire body rest, observing it for a few breaths. What feels alive in you most right now? Maybe it's through some pulsation or a lot of energy flowing into a certain part of the body. Or maybe it's an emotion or thought. What feels really alive in you right now? Just notice that. As you continue to balance and lengthen the breath, let's turn over onto our backs, reach for your strap. And let's take a supine spinal twist, entering the restorative and yin part of our practice. So as you line your back, let's start with half wind relieving pose. Stretch the left leg on the floor, bend the right knee into your chest. Just hug it in for a few breaths. Maybe circle the right foot at the ankle in both directions. Try to relax the shoulders on the ground. If your head is not comfortably resting on the ground, you can grab your blanket, fold it, place it under the head. Let's step the ball of your right foot into the strap. Straighten the right leg towards the sky to your capacity and hold the strap in your left hand. Slide your pelvis about 3 to 5 inches towards the right edge of your mat. Open your right arm wide on the ground and press the right shoulder into the floor. Try to keep it on the floor the whole twist. You can stretch your neck by gazing past your right shoulder. Now sickle your right foot in the strap by turning the sole of the foot from the ankle to face the left wall. This will add a deeper IT band stretch along the outer right thigh from outer hip to outer knee. Now take your time, breath by breath, slowly begin to cross your right leg over your body. Stop 1/3 of your range and just pause there for a few breaths while drawing your right outer hip towards the front edge of your mat. Slight tilt to traction the lower back. Then continue another 1/3 of your range deeper into the twist. Pause, and again tilt the right outer hip towards the front edge of the mat. At your own pace, continue to your full range in the twist, in which your right shoulder can remain on the floor. Now, if your right shoulder tends to lift off the floor, back off a little, and feel free to use your pillow, like I'm doing here, or whatever props, you can stack them as high as you need, to rest the inner side of your right leg on in order to keep the right shoulder from lifting off the ground. And it makes it a bit more relaxed effort. Now, some of you might add a stretch for your left quadricep and hip flexor while you're here, in which you bend the left knee. And with the right hand, catch the top of your left foot. Then bring the heel of that foot towards your glute and reground your right shoulder. Continue tilting your right outer hip forward. Now, if this is too cumbersome to catch hold of that left foot, let it go, right? It's really about weighing your priorities and saying, okay, what is the version of this pose that's going to be most beneficial and harmonizing for my energy and mind body? You can answer that question the most. Let's tune into about 7 or so more breaths, right where you are. Start to unravel slowly from the twist. Put the strap aside, slide your legs both in front of you, stretch the arms overhead, and just take a moment in a more neutral, symmetrical posture before we go to the second side. Sense the quality of your breathing again. Come back to that consistency of sound where you're lengthening in and out breaths evenly. Let's bend the left knee into your chest. Hug it in. Maybe circle your left foot at the ankle in both directions. Consciously relax your shoulders both on the ground. Relax the neck and jaw. Step the ball of your left foot into the strap. Extend the left leg up as much as you comfortably can. Hold the strap in your right hand and scoot your pelvis towards the left edge of your mat. Maybe 3 to 5 more inches. Open your left arm wide on the ground. Keep the left shoulder on the floor. You might be gazing past it to stretch the neck. Sickle your left foot. So from the sole, turn the ankle, so the sole.
So from the ankle, turn the sole to face the right wall. And then 1/3 of your range, start to cross the leg over your body to the right. Pause there and draw your left outer hip forward towards the front edge of your mat. Continue another 1/3 of your range. Continue to draw the left outer hip forward, making sure the left shoulder stays on the ground. And if needed, you can put a bolster or whatever props on the inner side of the left leg to catch it. Now, if you did so on the first side and it's available on this side, you might bend the right knee to stretch into the right quadricep and hip flexor. And with the left hand, catch hold of your right foot, bringing the foot closer to your glutes, reground your left shoulder, and continue to tilt your left outer hip forward. Let's tune in to 7 or so more deep breaths here. Paying attention to any subtle shifts you might notice in any layer of your being, physical, mental, emotional, energetic. And also paying attention to what doesn't change. That is fine as well, right? No pressure to make big shifts happen. Start to unravel back to center, stretch the legs forward, maybe raise the arms overhead. Come into a more symmetrical shape in your body where you can rest for a few breaths and just observe. Draw your bent knees into your chest and start to rock sideways, forward and back. So that spinal twist not only helps bring energy flow through your solar plexus or Manipura chakra, but also your sacral energy center, right? As it might relieve tension sitting in the lower back at your sacrum. Remember that the sacral energy center called Svadhisthana chakra in Sanskrit, part of it is about how you relate to your emotions and not let them stagnate and be unprocessed, but how you practice compassion with what's arising and how you also practice adapting to change, embodying the element of water, which is flow. So let's take a few breaths of letting the pelvis flow by swinging the legs gently in whatever organic directions. You can hold the legs or you can let them move freely. And just helping to loosen up the area of the pelvis, and the lower back too becomes affected. We're also massaging it against the ground here. You can also come into happy baby pose and rock side to side in that posture. You could bicycle the legs as well, which is a bit more active. You could have the feet on the floor and windshield wiper the legs. Just ask your body what it needs right now and listen to that for a few more breaths. Breathing in a little deeper. Open your mouth wide and stick out your tongue. Let out any sound that feels releasing for you. Lion's breath. One more time. Deep, deep breath in. Breathe all the way down to your solar plexus, to your sacral center. And release. Draw your bent knees together and rock forward and back a few times until You can rock all the way forward to hands and knees again. We're going to come into a hip opener called single pigeon pose. You might know that. Turn out your right thigh at the hip, cross the shin in front of your pelvis, and straighten the left leg behind you as you lower to sit. Now take a moment to square your hips, which means turn both of your frontal hip bones to equally face the front of your mat, which might entail lifting the pelvis off the floor, tacking the right hip back, rotating the left outer hip forward. Might even be helpful to place a folded blanket under your right glute to maintain that squaring. If you find that your right shin is able to comfortably parallel the front edge of your mat, make sure that you're supporting the right knee by flexing the right foot the entire pose. And then as you breathe in, stretch the front of your torso, lifting the chest. You can have a pillow in front of you to bear hug. You can have a block to rest your forehead on, or you can have nothing. See what's most comfortable for you to just sort of let go. Let the torso feel heavy. Let the head feel supported. Let the neck feel soft. We're going to be here for 3 minutes before we switch sides. So tune in to your breath. Let your mind stay present. Staying right where you are. We've got about 2 more minutes here. Just need to blow my nose with these spring allergies. Let's stay for one more very long breath here, both in and out. When you're ready, take your time, move slowly back to your hands and your knees. When you arrive there, give yourself permission to move in any way that your body is needing to sort of neutralize from the pose or digest what just happened. You might circle the pelvis sideways. You might sink back to your heels like child's pose. You might breathe through a few cat-cows or raise the right leg and circle it out. All right, let's prepare for side two. Come back to your hands and your knees. Turn out your left thigh at the hip. Slide your left shin in front of your pelvis across the mat and straighten the right leg behind you as you lower to sit. Take a moment to square both hips to face the front. Flex the left foot if the left shin is parallel to the front edge of the mat. Maybe place a folded blanket under the left glute to maintain the squaring of the hips if that's needed. And then breathe in and stretch the front of your torso, lift the chest. Take your time, adjust your props if you might need something different for this side as you're bowing in so that you feel completely supported to not have to effort so much to be in this pose. While there might be some discomfort, especially in the hip, the upper body is able to relax into the posture. And the lower body can find a sense of grounding. And once again, we're here for 3 minutes. Breathing deeply. And resting, learning to rest in the stillness. So letting go of any need to fidget, fidgeting the body or fidgeting the eyes or fidgeting the mind. Really practicing relaxing into stillness. All right, let's stay for one last very slow breath here. Take your time when you're ready to slowly step back to hands and knees and allow your body to lead in any direction it needs to move. When you're ready, let's come up to sit at the center of your mat. Gonna prepare for supported fish pose with supported bound angle pose, lying down. So grab your strap if it has a buckle and you're able to create a large loop in the strap. Go ahead and create a large loop, like almost the size of a hula hoop, like a junior hula hoop, like this much, that you can place around your waist, just above your hips, like this. If you do not have the ability to create a loop with your strap like that, then go ahead and make a long burrito out of your blanket. So you can unfold it until it's the width of, say, your wingspan, like this. Place it on the ground and take the time to very smoothly roll it into a firm cylinder-shaped pillow. Very smooth, like this. And whether you're using the cylinder pillow, which you can set aside for now, or you have the loop of a belt around your waist, you can wear that for now. We're gonna set up for a supported fish pose with 2 blocks. If you have another blanket, if you have one that you're not using as a cylinder pillow, go ahead and set that beside you near the rear edge of your mat so that you can place it over your pelvis and belly for some grounding support if you would like. So with your 2 blocks, here are a couple of options to support a heart opener. Place the tallest block on the rearmost edge of your mat to place under the back of your skull, and then place the medium height, which is the second level of the block, either across the width of the mat, where the blocks are spaced apart 5 to 6 inches, or tracing the midline of the length of the mat, where the blocks are spaced apart 1 to 2 inches. Basically, when you lie back, you want the closest edge of the closest block to land just beneath the bottom tips of your shoulder blades. And the neck will be free from any of the blocks, but the back of your skull will be caught by the furthest block. And then when you lie down, if you find that you're not feeling much of a heart opener, let's say your shoulders are really open, then you can tilt the block that's under your head 1 step or 2 steps even lower, making the block that's under your rib cage higher than the one behind your head. So you can adjust that part when you're lying down. Now, if you have the hula hoop ring around you, the belt, start with bringing the soles of your feet together as you sit up, bending the knees apart. Let me retrace that. If you have the cylinder pillow, start with that shape of the legs and place the middle of the pillow on top of your inner feet, inner ankles, and then slide the ends of the pillow underneath your outer thighs so that it feels snug. You feel like you can just relax the hips to open the thighs. Now, if you have the belt, place the smooth part of the belt, not the ring, around your back, just above the pelvis, and place it also around your outer feet. So outer feet, like a hood, and then tighten or loosen the belt so that this is pretty taut, so that it can keep the shape while you lie back onto the blocks. When you lie back, you might need to adjust, loosen or tighten the belt as well. So, and then you can adjust the block that's under the rib cage if you want it to go across the width of the mat or tracing the length of the mat. Make sure that what you've chosen is something you can stay in comfortably for about 5 minutes. We're going to spend corpse pose here, Shavasana. And then lastly, once you've adjusted any blocks, adjusted the belt or the cylinder blanket, if you have a second blanket or even a pillow that you want to use for support, for grounding, go ahead and place that on top of your pelvis and your lower belly for some gentle weight. Allow your shoulders to roll back and slide the shoulder blades down your back, turning your palms to face up on the floor, just slightly away from your thighs. Feel that your head is more of a neutral position. You're not straining the back or the front of the neck. And then close your eyes. If you have an eye pillow, that might be helpful to tune inward. And I'm going to invite you into a few deep breaths called resonant breathing, which is a mindful breathing technique to invite presence and calm. So before we start it, let's breathe in really deep through the nose. Imagine you're breathing into your entire body. Fill up to the top and hold the breath in. Sip in a little more if you can. And then really, really slowly open the mouth and sigh it out. All the way to empty. Let out any last bit of air from the lungs. And when you do, hold the breath out and close the lips. We'll go right into resonant breathing. Then inhale through the nose slowly for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale through the nose. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Again, inhale 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Count a few more cycles on your own and let the breath expand in your sacral energy area, the lower belly, the lower back, in your solar plexus area, the mid back, the upper belly, and your heart area, heart chakra area, the chest and the upper back. And as you breathe out, feel those areas completely soften and relax. Maybe going for 2 more cycles of resonant breathing on your own before you let go of controlling your breath. Let your body rest a little longer right where it is with your eyes still closed. And as your body is resting, notice how it feels. How do you feel physically right now? Start to move a small part of your body very gently. You might let your thumbs rub against the fingertips, feeling the sensations in your hands. You might gently turn your head and just softly stretch your neck. And you might start to stretch the arms and eventually remove any prop that might be sitting on your pelvis. Find the easiest route for you to very slowly rise into a comfortable seat. Finding a way to sit for 5 minutes in meditation in which your whole body can be fully relaxed, your mind can be alert, and your breath can flow easily. Let's begin our meditation. You might close the eyes and you might place your hands in a mudra that supports the feeling tone you're seeking. If you're focusing on the heart chakra a bit more today, you can bring the hands in lotus mudra, where you bring the inner edges of the heels of the palms, thumbs, and pinky fingers to touch like a blossoming lotus flower. As the thumbs touch your sternum, fingers are like petals opening towards the sky. Notice if there is a particular quality of energy you're drawn to right now, or that you're drawn to evoking. The heart energy of compassion, joy, healing, harmony, peace. You might rest your awareness there, visualizing the color green flowing as the breath naturally flows into wherever aspects of your life you'd like that energy to flow. You might visualize that. If you're focusing more on willpower, the strength to honor your truth and highest good for yours and those around you, you might be visualizing the energy of your solar plexus, Manipura chakra, yellow like this fierce sun, golden yellow sun, the element of fire. And maybe envisioning in what areas of your life you would like to rekindle that sense of fire, courage, devotion. If you'd like to focus more on your Svadhisthana's sacral energy center, you might picture the color orange and feel a sense of flow like water, where you're able to move through change and allow and process emotions to move, heal, and transmute. You might visualize in what aspects in your life you invite more of that sacral energy.
Allow a breath, visualizing it enter the base of your spine and rising all the way up the center line of your body, through your 7 main chakras or energy centers to your crown. And as you exhale, let it all come down again, back to the root. And as you bring the palms in prayer, signifying union, union of your masculine energy, which exists no matter what gender you have, and your feminine energy, bringing the two together, the yin, the yang, the solar, the lunar. Recognize something you appreciate right now. Reaffirm your intention on this new moon solar eclipse day. And remember to whom you offered your practice today. And together, let's once again chant the Bija mantra or seed sound of the sacral center, Vam, the solar plexus center, Ram, and the heart center, Yam. Let in a deep breath. Vam, Ram, Yam. Bowing in head to heart. The light in me honors the light in you. Namaste.